Have you ever wondered what Muhammad Ali said to Mike Tyson that stayed in Tyson's mind for the rest of his life? Not a boxing lesson, not a fighting secret, not advice about throwing punches. Something far more important, something about fame. Because while the world saw Mike Tyson becoming the most feared fighter on earth, Muhammad Ali saw something else. He saw danger. And years before Tyson's life began to spiral out of control, Ali tried to warn him. What Ali told Tyson would eventually prove true in ways nobody could have imagined. And when Tyson finally understood the meaning of those words, it was already too late. But Tyson didn't know. Muhammad Ali had already lived through everything that was coming. To understand this story, we need to travel back to the late 1970s. Mike Tyson was still a troubled teenager from Brooklyn, New York. Life had not been kind to him. His neighborhood was rough. Violence surrounded him. Crime was everywhere. Many people expected Tyson to become another lost kid on the streets. But one man saw something different. That man was Cuz D'Amato. Cuz wasn't simply a boxing trainer. He was a teacher, a father figure, a mentor. And from the very beginning, Cuz filled Tyson's mind with stories about one fighter, Muhammad Ali. Night after night, Tyson watched Ali's fights. He studied every movement, every jab, every combination, every interview, every prediction, every victory. Ali seemed larger than life. He moved differently, talked differently, acted differently. Nobody captured attention like Muhammad Ali. To Tyson, Ali wasn't just a boxer. He was a superhero. And Tyson dreamed about meeting him someday. But Tyson didn't know his hero was already carrying a burden hidden behind the spotlight. By the early 1980s, Muhammad Ali's fighting career had ended. The world still adored him. Fans still crowded around him everywhere he went. Reporters still chased every appearance. But Ali understood something most people never saw. Fame wasn't always a gift. Sometimes it was a trap, because Ali had experienced both sides. He knew what it felt like when millions loved you, and he knew what it felt like when millions criticized you. He had been praised. He had been hated. He had been celebrated. He had been attacked. Through all of it, Ali learned lessons that only a few people on earth could understand. Lessons about success. Lessons about power. Lessons about attention. And one day, those lessons would be passed to Mike Tyson. But Tyson didn't know that moment was approaching faster than anyone expected. In 1985, Tyson's professional boxing career officially began. Immediately, people noticed something special. His speed was frightening. His power was terrifying. Opponents didn't simply lose. They were destroyed. Knockout after knockout piled up. Crowds grew larger. Media attention exploded. Newspaper headlines appeared everywhere. The boxing world became obsessed. A new superstar had arrived. Fans couldn't look away. Promoters couldn't stop talking about him. Television networks wanted him on every broadcast. Suddenly, Mike Tyson wasn't just a fighter. He was becoming a phenomenon. And Muhammad Ali was watching, carefully, quietly, observing everything. Ali recognized the signs. Because he had seen them before. He had lived them before. The attention, the excitement, the pressure, the expectations, the fame. Ali understood exactly where Tyson's journey was heading, and he worried, not about Tyson's punches, not about Tyson's opponents, but about everything waiting outside the ring. Because Tyson didn't know the toughest fight of his life would never take place under boxing lights. In November 1986, Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in history, only 20 years old. The achievement shocked the sports world. Millions watched the rise of a young fighter who seemed unstoppable. The celebrations were enormous. Reporters surrounded him. Businesses wanted endorsements. Celebrities wanted photographs. Everyone wanted a piece of Mike Tyson. The attention became endless. And that's when Muhammad Ali decided it was time. Time to speak. Time to share wisdom. Time to warn the young champion. The two men crossed paths at several boxing events and public appearances. For Tyson, these meetings felt surreal. The boy who once watched Ali on television was now standing beside him, talking with him, learning from him, listening to him. Tyson absorbed every word, because when Muhammad Ali spoke, Tyson paid attention. But during one conversation, Ali's tone changed. He wasn't joking. He wasn't entertaining reporters. He wasn't performing for cameras. This was serious. Ali looked at Tyson and began talking about fame, not championships, not victories, not money, fame, and what he said would stay with Tyson forever. But Tyson didn't yet understand how accurate those words would become. Ali explained that fame could make people lose themselves. It could convince a person they were invincible. It could surround them with people who only wanted something. It could make it difficult to know who your real friends were. It could create an illusion that eventually disappears. Ali knew this because he had lived it at the height of his popularity. People followed him everywhere. Everyone wanted access. Everyone wanted favors. Everyone wanted attention. Yet, very few truly cared about him as a person. Ali wanted Tyson to recognize his danger before it was too late. But Tyson was young, extremely young. Success was arriving faster than anyone imagined. And although he respected Ali deeply, some lessons can only be learned through experience. But Tyson didn't know experience was about to become a very expensive teacher. The money started arriving faster than Tyson could spend it. Millions of dollars flowed into his bank accounts. Luxury cars appeared. Massive homes appeared. Jewelry appeared. Private parties became common. Everywhere Tyson went, crowds followed. Everywhere Tyson looked, people wanted something. Some wanted photographs. Some wanted autographs. Others wanted opportunities. Many simply wanted access to the most famous young athlete in America. At first, it felt incredible. After all, this was a dream. This was a reward for years of sacrifice. This was proof that he had made it. But Muhammad Ali had seen this movie before, and he already knew how it ended. Because Tyson didn't know, fame often whispers lies that sound like compliments. The more successful Tyson became, the more difficult life grew behind the scenes. People constantly praised him. They agreed with everything he said. They laughed at every joke. They rarely challenged him, rarely questioned him, rarely told him no. The world treated him like a king. For a young man barely in his 20s, that kind of attention could be dangerous. Ali understood this perfectly. He had once experienced the same thing. Years earlier, Ali had become one of the most recognized people on earth. His face appeared everywhere. His words made headlines. His presence filled arenas. And yet, despite all that admiration, Ali eventually realized something painful. Fame attracts two kinds of people: those who love you and those who love what you can do for them. The difficult part is telling the difference. That was the lesson Ali hoped Tyson would learn early. But Tyson didn't know he was about to enter the most chaotic period of his life. As the late 1980s arrived, Tyson's dominance continued. Fight after fight ended the same way. Knockout, knockout, knockout. Opponents seemed defeated before the opening bell. The public viewed Tyson as unstoppable. Many experts compared him to legends. Some even compared him to Ali. The comparisons generated endless debate. Could Tyson surpass Ali? Could Tyson become the greatest ever? Reporters asked these questions constantly. Tyson always respected Ali. He never wanted to replace him. He never wanted to diminish his accomplishments. In Tyson's eyes, Ali occupied a special place that nobody else could touch. But outside forces kept building expectations. More pressure, more attention, more scrutiny. Every decision became a headline. Every mistake became national news. And the fame Ali warned him about continued growing stronger. But Tyson didn't know the people closest to him were beginning to disappear. In November 1985, Cus D'Amato passed away. The loss devastated Tyson. Cus had been more than a trainer. He had been the one person who consistently guided him, protected him, corrected him, prepared him. Now that voice was gone. And without realizing it, Tyson became increasingly vulnerable. There were still advisors around him, still managers, still friends, still business associates. But nobody could replace Cus. Nobody could fill that role. Muhammad Ali recognized the danger immediately because Ali had experienced loneliness inside fame. The larger your celebrity becomes, the harder it becomes to find people willing to tell you uncomfortable truths. Many people prefer keeping powerful individuals happy. Very few risk upsetting them. Ali feared Tyson was entering that exact situation, and unfortunately, history would prove him right. But Tyson didn't know the warning Ali gave him was becoming reality day by day. As Tyson's fame exploded worldwide, his personal life grew more complicated. The spotlight never turned off. Every relationship became public. Every disagreement became news. Every rumor became a headline. Living under that pressure wasn't easy. The public saw wealth. The public saw success. The public saw championship belts. What they didn't see was the emotional weight, the constant attention, the endless expectations, the inability to live a normal life. Ali understood those struggles better than almost anyone. He knew fame could become exhausting. He knew it could distort reality. He knew it could make a person feel isolated even when surrounded by thousands. Years earlier, he had navigated those same challenges, sometimes successfully, sometimes not. That experience was why he tried helping Tyson, not as a boxing mentor, as a man, because Tyson didn't know the greatest lesson Ali offered had nothing to do with fighting. One of the reasons Tyson admired Ali so deeply was Ali's ability to remain himself, even during controversy, even during criticism, even during enormous pressure. Ali stayed true to his beliefs. That wasn't easy. In fact, it often came with consequences. But Ali accepted those consequences. Tyson respected that courage enormously, because fame often encourages people to change, to become whatever the public wants, whatever sponsors want, whatever media wants. Ali resisted that temptation. He remained Muhammad Ali, authentic, unapologetic, unique. That authenticity became one of the biggest reasons Tyson viewed him as more than a sports hero. Ali represented something larger: character, conviction, identity, values that money could never buy, values that fame could never create. And Tyson didn't know he would spend years searching for those same qualities within himself. By the end of the 1980s, Tyson had become one of the most famous athletes on the planet. His face appeared on magazine covers worldwide. His fights generated enormous revenue. Millions tuned in every time he entered a ring. The fame Ali warned about had fully arrived, and with it came temptation. Temptation to believe the hype. Temptation to trust the wrong people. Temptation to think success would last forever. Muhammad Ali understood something Tyson had not yet learned. Everything changes. Championships change. Money changes. Public opinion changes. Popularity changes. The cheers eventually fade. The headlines eventually disappear. What remains is character. What remains is reputation. What remains is how you treated people. Ali tried teaching Tyson this lesson before life forced him to learn it himself. But Tyson didn't know one shocking night would change everything. For years, Tyson appeared invincible. The aura around him seemed untouchable. Fans expected victory every time. Experts expected victory every time. Promoters expected victory every time. The idea of Tyson losing felt impossible. Yet history has a way of surprising people. And when that surprise arrived, Tyson suddenly found himself confronting truths Ali had warned him about years earlier. Because fame loves winners. But fame treats losers very differently. And Tyson was about to discover exactly what Ali meant. February 11th, 1990, Tokyo, Japan. The night everything changed. Mike Tyson entered the ring against James "Buster" Douglas, carrying the confidence of an undefeated champion. Most people expected another quick knockout. The odds heavily favored Tyson. Many experts considered Douglas little more than a formality, another name on Tyson's growing list of victims. The crowd expected domination. Television viewers expected domination. Even some members of Tyson's own team expected domination. But Muhammad Ali understood something about life. Nothing lasts forever. Not fame, not power, not championships, and certainly not invincibility. But Tyson didn't know he was about to learn one of the hardest lessons any champion can face. As the fight unfolded, something felt different. Douglas wasn't intimidated. He wasn't backing away. He wasn't frozen by Tyson's reputation. Instead, he fought with confidence. Round after round, Douglas challenged the champion. The audience grew restless. Commentators sounded surprised. Nobody expected this. Tyson had spent years overwhelming opponents. Now he was facing resistance. Real resistance. For perhaps the first time in years, Tyson looked human. The aura of invincibility began cracking, and the world watched in disbelief. Because Tyson didn't know, the reaction after defeat would teach him more than victory ever had. When Douglas scored the knockout in the 10th round, boxing history changed forever. The undefeated champion had fallen. Shock spread around the world. Newspapers rushed to print special editions. Sports networks interrupted programming. Fans struggled to believe what they had witnessed. The impossible had happened. And suddenly, Tyson experienced something unfamiliar. Criticism. The same people who once praised him endlessly began questioning him. Some supporters disappeared. Some friends became distant. Some admirers moved on. The attention remained, but the tone changed. Muhammad Ali understood exactly what Tyson was feeling, because Ali had lived through similar moments. He knew fame could be conditional. He knew public affection could be temporary. He knew how quickly opinions could shift. This was part of the warning he had tried to give Tyson years earlier. But Tyson didn't know his understanding of Ali's words was only beginning. For the first time, Tyson found himself facing adversity on a massive scale. The spotlight remained bright, but now it highlighted mistakes instead of accomplishments. Every interview focused on failure. Every article focused on failure. Every conversation focused on failure. That pressure can break people. Many athletes never recover from it. Yet hidden inside difficult moments are powerful lessons. Lessons Ali had already learned. Lessons Tyson was finally beginning to understand. Because when success disappears, something important becomes visible. The truth. Who remains beside you? Who still believes in you? Who genuinely cares? Muhammad Ali had asked himself those questions many times. Now Tyson faced them too. And Tyson didn't know the answers would permanently change how he viewed fame. Throughout the years that followed, Tyson's life became increasingly turbulent. Legal problems emerged. Personal struggles intensified. Relationships became complicated. The public image that once seemed unstoppable began unraveling. For many observers, it felt shocking. For Ali, it felt familiar, not because their situations were identical, but because Ali understood how fame amplifies every weakness. Small mistakes become national news. Private struggles become public entertainment. Personal pain becomes public discussion. Few people truly understand that burden. Ali did. And Tyson gradually realized Ali had been preparing him for this reality all along. The warning had never been about avoiding fame. It was about surviving it. But Tyson didn't know the deepest meaning of Ali's lesson would arrive years later. As time passed, Tyson matured. Life humbled him. Experience changed him. The reckless confidence of youth slowly evolved into reflection. He began looking back, examining decisions, examining mistakes, examining influences. And again, his thoughts returned to Muhammad Ali, the conversations, the advice, the warnings, the wisdom. What once sounded like simple observations now felt profound. Tyson finally understood why Ali spoke so seriously about fame. Because Ali wasn't speaking as a celebrity. He was speaking as a survivor. Someone who had witnessed both the rewards and dangers of global recognition. Someone who understood that public admiration can become addictive. Someone who knew how quickly it can disappear. Those lessons gained new meaning as Tyson rebuilt his life. And Tyson didn't know he would eventually become one of Ali's strongest defenders. Whenever people discussed Muhammad Ali, Tyson spoke with enormous respect. Not because Ali was undefeated. Ali wasn't. Not because Ali never made mistakes. He did. Tyson admired Ali because he overcame challenges beyond boxing. Challenges involving race, politics, public criticism, health struggles, personal sacrifice. Tyson recognized that Ali's greatness extended far beyond sports. Most people saw a champion. Tyson saw a man who remained strong when life became difficult. a man who refused to compromise his principles, a man who never stopped fighting, even after leaving the ring. That understanding deepened Tyson's admiration, and it transformed Ali from hero into something even greater, a role model. Because Tyson didn't know, their relationship would become even more meaningful as Ali's health declined. As the years passed, Parkinson's disease continued affecting Muhammad Ali. The symptoms became increasingly visible. Movement slowed. Speech became more difficult. Public appearances required more effort. Watching this progression was painful for millions of fans. For Tyson, it felt deeply personal. This was the man who once danced around opponents. The man who floated like a butterfly. The man whose energy seemed endless. Now, he faced an opponent no amount of training could defeat. Yet, even in illness, Ali continued inspiring people. His courage never disappeared. His kindness never disappeared. His dignity never disappeared. Tyson watched all of it, and every observation reinforced what Ali had taught him. True greatness isn't measured when life is easy. It's measured when life becomes difficult. Ali proved that repeatedly. And Tyson didn't know, those final lessons would leave the strongest impact of all. The older Tyson became, the more he appreciated Ali's wisdom. Not because he agreed with every decision Ali made. Not because Ali was perfect. But because Ali understood something fundamental. Fame is temporary. Character is permanent. The crowd eventually goes home. The cameras eventually leave. The headlines eventually stop. What remains is who you are. That was the message hidden inside Ali's warning. A message Tyson spent decades fully understanding. And perhaps that's why their story remains so powerful. It isn't simply about boxing. It's about life. A young champion receiving wisdom from an older champion. A student learning from a master. A future legend learning from an existing legend. And those lessons continued shaping Tyson long after conversations ended. But Tyson didn't know the final chapter of this story would become the most emotional of all. By the early 2000s, Mike Tyson was no longer the young heavyweight champion who believed nothing could stop him. Life had changed him. Success had changed him. Failure had changed him. The lessons Muhammad Ali once tried teaching were no longer theories. They were reality. Tyson had experienced the highs. He had experienced the lows. And now he could finally understand the wisdom behind Ali's warning. Because Tyson didn't know, the most important part of Ali's message had never been about fame itself. It had been about surviving after the fame fades. As Muhammad Ali grew older, his public appearances became increasingly rare. Every appearance felt special. Fans cherished every moment. People understood they were witnessing a living piece of history. The man who had once captivated the world with speed, charisma, and confidence was now fighting a different battle. A quieter battle. A harder battle. One fought away from boxing rings. And through it all, Ali continued showing courage. The same courage that once helped him face heavyweight champions. The same courage that helped him stand by his beliefs. The same courage that inspired generations. Tyson watched with admiration and heartbreak because Tyson didn't know. Seeing Ali's struggle would affect him more deeply than any fight he had ever watched. Whenever Tyson saw Muhammad Ali during those later years, the emotions were impossible to hide. The physical changes were obvious. The illness had taken much, but it had not taken everything. Ali's spirit remained. His warmth remained. His presence remained. People still felt it immediately, even when words came slowly. Even when movement became difficult, there was still something extraordinary about him. Tyson often spoke about that quality. How Ali could walk into a room and instantly change the atmosphere. How people naturally gravitated toward him. How respect followed him everywhere. Not because of championships, because of character. That realization became even clearer as Tyson matured. Because Tyson didn't know, he was beginning to value the man even more than the fighter. Years earlier, Tyson had idolized Ali's boxing skills. The footwork, the speed, the combinations, the confidence. But as time passed, those qualities became secondary. Now, Tyson admired different things. Ali's compassion, Ali's generosity, Ali's courage, Ali's humanity. the things that couldn't be measured on scorecards, the things that couldn't be displayed in trophy cases, the things that truly define a legacy. Those qualities separated Ali from almost every athlete in history, and Tyson knew it, which is why every conversation about Ali became emotional, because Tyson wasn't remembering punches. He was remembering lessons, and Tyson didn't know one heartbreaking day would force the entire world to remember those lessons too. June 2016. The news spread quickly. Muhammad Ali had been hospitalized. Fans around the world worried. Many hoped for recovery. Many prayed. Many refused to believe the end might be near. After all, Muhammad Ali always seemed larger than life. The idea of a world without him felt impossible. Yet reality was approaching. And when the announcement finally came, millions felt the same sadness. Muhammad Ali was gone. The news shocked the world. Television networks interrupted programming. Newspapers ran special editions. Social media filled with tributes. Athletes, actors, politicians, world leaders. Everyone shared memories. Everyone shared gratitude. Everyone shared stories. Because everyone understood they had lost someone extraordinary. And Tyson didn't know saying goodbye would be harder than he imagined. For Mike Tyson, the loss felt personal. Very personal. This wasn't simply a famous athlete passing away. This wasn't simply a historical figure. This was his hero, the man whose posters hung in his room, the man whose fights inspired his dreams, the man whose advice shaped his life, the man who warned him about fame long before anyone else. Now he was gone. Tyson struggled to find words. The emotions were overwhelming, because sometimes people don't fully understand someone's importance until that person is no longer there. And Tyson understood exactly how important Muhammad Ali had been. But Tyson didn't know the funeral would become one of the most powerful moments of his life. Thousands gathered in Louisville. People traveled from every corner of the world. Some came to honor a champion. Others came to honor a humanitarian. Many came to honor both. The atmosphere was emotional, yet beautiful. Exactly the kind of farewell Ali deserved. Tyson stood among those paying tribute. As he looked around, he saw evidence of Ali's true impact. Different races, different religions, different cultures, different generations, all united by one man. Few people in history have created that kind of connection. Muhammad Ali did. And suddenly Tyson understood something deeper than ever before. Ali's greatest achievement wasn't becoming heavyweight champion. It wasn't defeating Sonny Liston. It wasn't defeating George Foreman. It wasn't winning titles. His greatest achievement was bringing people together. That was the legacy left behind. And Tyson didn't know that realization would stay with him forever. In interviews after Ali's death, Tyson often reflected on what made him special. The answers were revealing. Rarely did Tyson focus on championships. Rarely did Tyson focus on statistics. Instead, he spoke about humanity, kindness, courage, integrity. Those qualities mattered most, because anyone can become famous. Very few become beloved. Anyone can become powerful. Very few become respected across generations. Muhammad Ali achieved both, and that distinction mattered enormously to Tyson, because Ali's influence extended beyond sports, beyond boxing, beyond entertainment. He inspired people to become better, to think bigger, to stand taller, to believe more. And Tyson knew how rare that was, because Tyson didn't know Ali's warning about fame had actually been a lesson about life. The older Tyson became, the clearer everything appeared. Ali wasn't telling him to avoid success. Ali wasn't telling him to reject fame. Ali was telling him not to lose himself, to remember who he was before the cameras arrived, before the money arrived, before the applause arrived, because those things eventually disappear. Identity must remain. Character must remain. Values must remain. That was the lesson. And Tyson finally understood it completely, perhaps later than Ali hoped. But not too late. Never too late. Because wisdom often arrives after experience. And Tyson's experiences had transformed him. The reckless young champion became a thoughtful older man, a man capable of appreciating what Ali had tried teaching all along. And Tyson didn't know those lessons would become part of his own legacy. Today, whenever Tyson speaks about Muhammad Ali, the admiration is unmistakable. The respect is genuine. The gratitude is genuine. The emotion is genuine. Because Tyson understands something many people miss. Great fighters inspire athletes. Great men inspire humanity. Muhammad Ali managed to do both. That is why Tyson never stopped calling him the greatest. Not simply the greatest boxer. Not simply the greatest athlete. The greatest man. Because when Tyson looks back on his life, he sees more than championships and fame. He sees lessons. He sees guidance. He sees warnings. He sees wisdom. And much of that wisdom came from Muhammad Ali, the hero he once watched on television, the legend he eventually met, the mentor who warned him about fame, the friend he later mourned. And perhaps that's the most beautiful part of this story. A young boy from Brooklyn idolized Muhammad Ali. Years later, he stood beside him, learned from him, listened to him, and carried those lessons for the rest of his life. Muhammad Ali's warning was never really about fame. It was about protecting the person underneath the fame. And after everything Tyson experienced, he finally understood Ali had been right all along. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, George Foreman, Joe Frazier, and boxing history stories. Until next time, remember, fame can make a person famous, but character is what makes them unforgettable.